Hey, y'all, and welcome to another episode where we get real on the Sisters Unplugged podcast. My name's Liv, and I am joined today with two of my sisters, Emma and Jenna Reynolds. Today, we will be talking about postpartum and the complications that come along with that I feel like is sometimes unspoken because. Did we just shit? Oh my God.
Sorry.
You need to get all your shit out and let your aunt know when you're done, okay? We will talk about things that are unspoken of between moms, young moms, middle aged moms, and it's just sometimes hard to really get out there and get more information on because you have a perspective of social media, all the newborn pictures that are thrown out there with the pretty bows, but behind scenes are what's so funny?
Okay, I just needed to get that out. I accidentally made eye contact with her, and I could tell she was trying not to laugh. I'm ready now.
All right, so Jenna, my youngest sister, she just had a newborn son. His name is Lakai, and my other sister Emma, she has my niece Ivy, who just turned 1 this past August, a couple of months ago. So they are familiar with newborn stage and the hard times that can come with that. So we're going to dive deep and hear our stories and how we have faced and are currently facing postpartum. Emma, what is going on with you with Ivy being recently turned 1?
To say I'm finally glad that I'm at this point now. Her reaching a year seems so far for me, and I always wondered like, am I gonna make it there? Like, that's so far away from now, and it did fly by really fast, but honestly, like, I'm loving this stage. I feel more like myself, and I'm just super proud that we made it to this point, honestly.
I know in the first 2 months it can be hard because it's kind of like foggy. It's like cloudy. It's like you don't really remember. And I know Jenna, you're currently experiencing that right now. So how are you dealing with it?
Um, I mean, it's different. I knew it wasn't gonna be easy, but I'm pushing through it. I'm trying my best right here.
So you're currently staying at home with him. Are you getting to have that wonderful opportunity?
Yeah, I'm actually really blessed to stay home with him. I get to see every little new thing about him, even though he is only a month and like 3 weeks old right now. But it's really cool to be able to do this. A lot of people don't get to, so it's nice.
So Emma, did you had that experience as well as staying at home during the first few months? Did you have any like certain circumstances arise? Like, was she colic or anything like that?
Yes, so I did stay home with her. I still stay home with her. Thank you to Zeke, who works his butt off for that opportunity. But she was super colicky, so it was hard to be with her 24/7. I felt like I did need a break. And I honestly was jealous because I had a lot of friends who had just had babies, and I mean, their baby, they were like, they never cried. They just used the bathroom and sleep. And I'm over here like, am I doing something wrong? Like, she was just super colicky. Her gas was really bad. There was just a bunch of different things going on. And so it was super hard for me within that newborn stage. And especially staying at home with her, I didn't get a break. And it was very overwhelming, but we got through it and we're here now.
Yeah, what they say is a very true statement of being a stay-at-home mom is a full-time job.
Yeah.
I would have to say with like Rylan, my oldest son, so I came home after I had him, but he had to stay in the NICU for a week. And then I got to bring him home after a week. He passed everything with flying colors. And so I was in a very unhealthy relationship. I did separate with his father like not even a week, but like a couple of days after I brought him home because, I said that's not the relationship that I want to portray to my son as a healthy relationship. So I did part ways with him, and I did do it, on my own majority of the time. And, that was difficult within itself of being young, which I was about the same age that Jenna was. And with Lucas, same situation. Unfortunately, I was in an unhealthy relationship. At the time, it wasn't portrayed as that in the beginning part of the relationship. But after I had him, I knew that, again, I didn't want to be in that type of relationship as an example for my children. So I knew something had to change. And I think that's when postpartum hit me the worst was after I had Lucas because Rylan was a toddler, a 2-year-old at the time, and Lucas was a newborn. And Lucas's father did, you know, 2 to 3 days after I had him, came in and basically destroyed my house because I didn't want to be with him, and I became very depressed. I did have postpartum thoughts, so I had to push forward. Eventually, I did start back to work about after 6 weeks after I had Lucas, and that did help a lot being back into the social world and having that support of your coworkers because you're around them. So it did help the time go by a little bit faster and better. And so I did have a more healthier environment since it was just me, Rylan, and Lucas. And then with Miss Kaya, she is 7 months old. I am in love with my husband. He is my world along with my children, and he is the best role model, stepfather, dad that I could ever ask for my two sons. And having him, he actually got to have a leave. He was an active duty captain in the Marine Corps, and they gave him like 2.5 months paternity leave to help me heal. I didn't have postpartum as bad, but I did have moments to where I was depressed because living in a city in a different state than from you guys and from, my friends, it is hard because I can't just go grab coffee with you guys. Like, I did have one military wife mom that I met, and, her family got orders and they had to move. So I did get depressed a little bit because, I was sad I didn't have another like mommy friend to be around, even though I did have the support from my husband, which was super helpful. But it's all an experience that is different for each individual, but it is good, if you do have that opportunity to stay home, with your babies.
So, see, I actually didn't know that Rylan went to the NICU for a week. How was that?
Basically, like when I had Rylan and he was induced, he was just so stressed out from my body from the medication they gave me to push him out because he wasn't ready, even though I was 40 weeks. So he was just under a lot of stress. And so when I went to breastfeed him, it was just he was not breathing, and it was so scary. Like literally I picked up his arm and it dropped, and so they had to run tests. They didn't tell me like exactly like what was wrong with him, so that freaked me out even more. But yeah, he had to stay in the NICU for a whole week. I had to go home without him. It was very hard.
Wow.
Yeah.
Honestly, all credits to you because having a partner going through postpartum is very challenging and hard in itself. So doing it alone, and especially your second go round, you had Rylan who was 2 years old and a newborn, doing it all by yourself. Like, there's times I wish we could go back and like if I knew what I know now, even though how old was I? Like 14 or 15?
Yeah, you were not even barely yeah, you weren't driving. You was like 13, 14. Yeah.
Girl, I woulda came over every day, helped with you if I could, 'cause it's hard, and like I said, having a partner through that process is hard in itself, so doing it alone, you're a super mom.
Oh, honestly, like, having to not raise you guys, but basically, like, being, like, so much older than you, like, Jenna, I'm 10 years older than you, and then, Emma, I'm, like, 7.5, 8 years older than you, so I was changing your diapers, wiping your butts, and all that jazz, and getting your hair ready for school sometimes, and I don't know if y'all remember, but, like, I would come get y'all for, like, your birthdays. Did I do that for you, Jenna? I'm just saying that, and I probably didn't do that. I think I Yeah, I did it with you and I did it with Lydia, but I think Jenna might have been real young.
Yeah, probably. Because you moved out whenever I was still really young.
So going into postpartum, I had so much like diapers, tuck pads, all these spray bottles, and it's different for everybody. And of course, I was watching TikToks, and it's just crazy how everybody's is so different because half the products that I had, I didn't even use them. So my go-to was tuck pads or every other day to buy a like cube or container of them. That and the Frida spray squirt bottle, that was one of my favorites. The only thing that sucked about that is you would have to get to the bathroom in time enough to warm up the water, then use the bathroom. But that was one of my favorites, that and tuck pads.
Hey, what's so funny is you sent me your box with all your postpartum goodies, and I used some of it along with a couple of items that I purchased. And then I sent my box to Jenna. So we just had like this ongoing care package for each other.
Yeah, cause I know, Jenna, you like the ice packs, didn't you?
Yeah, I like the ice packs, and then I like the Dermoplast. Is that what it was? That spray?
Dermoplast is a lifesaver.
Yeah. And so I had the Frida bottle, right? The pink one. And I used it in the first room that I was in whenever I had just had him. And I left it in the bathroom because the nurse said that they were going to grab everything. And then I get to the other room and they forgot to grab the pink one. So I had to use the hospital one.
That's okay, whatever works.
Yeah, but still, the pink one was way better.
Oh, because it didn't have the
Not more,
curve edge to it?
it literally was just like a bottle cap.
Now that you said that, when I had Rylan, I remember, the hospital in Rome gave me, like, a ketchup and mustard bottle, and I was like, "Did y'all just go to the kitchen
Yep.
and give me your extra condiments bottles?"
What all did y'all pack in y'all's hospital bag?
I actually didn't overpack. I am an overpacker, but I actually didn't overpack. So for myself, I brought my Frida bottle, and I think that's about it for me because I knew that they would have the tuck pads, the spray, and underwear. So I actually just brought my Frida bottle for me. Um, then I of course brought some comfy outfits. I think I went and bought some of those really soft pajamas, house shoes, and then stuff for Ivy. So a couple of outfits. I brought too many outfits for her because I didn't know what I wanted to take her pictures in. Zeke brought stuff for him. So, not a lot.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I wanted to bring was, I did the PJs and the mesh pennies, I guess, and the Frida, spray bottle as well, but I got me some slippers. There were some cute slippers from Target with the smiley faces on them.
Well, I really asked both of y'all what I should bring, but I really brought a couple of outfits. Those ice pads, and then I brought a couple of outfits, and then DJ just brought a couple of outfits. He really didn't need anything, and then I honestly didn't even use anything in my hospital bag. Like I wore the gown the entire time. Like I'm not gonna lie, I didn't wear my clothes until I went home. That's it.
I did too. I wore the gown the entire time.
It was the most comfy thing, and mostly with breastfeeding, it's like easy to just take it off to feed them, you know?
Okay, weird question. I thought going into the hospital, I was gonna shower at least within that first day or the next morning. I didn't shower the entire time there. Did y'all?
Girl, no, I was stank butt the whole time.
I see people, they're like, that first shower after you have your baby is the best. And I'm like, I didn't shower my whole time there.
I was honestly too scared to, mostly because I had stitches and I was like, I'm just scared it's gonna burn. So I just waited till I got home.
So you got home first day from the hospital. What was that like for you guys?
Whenever I got home, I was honestly not nervous, but obviously it was my first time. So I was just like, what is this even gonna be like? Like, what are we about to do? Do I just sit here and watch them sleep? Like, that's all I did do was just sit here and watch them sleep, honestly. But it really was nerve wracking because whenever I was at the hospital, I always felt like somebody was just right there if anything happened. So it made me feel like a lot more safe. But I got the hang of it a couple days within just being home. It obviously was stressful just getting the hang of it. And with breastfeeding, it's hard because sometimes they don't latch on, or it's a hard thing to get the hang of. But now we're sitting here kicking it right now, actually.
Yeah, for me, for my first day back, just because it's more clear with Kaya because it was more recent. Um, so yeah, I got stitches. That was a pain. I had to, let those heal. I had her vaginally, so she was 9 pounds. So I had to, had a healing process for that. And we actually had my brother-in-law come in town to watch the boys because at the naval base they didn't allow anyone else on there due to like COVID and all that. So he flew down and stayed with the boys, which was super nice. And so he was still there. I was, kind of weird feeling about that, to be honest, just because, privacy, you want that, but it was complete opposite. It was just a tremendous help because, the boys were in school. They needed help with homework. Like life still goes on when you have other kids and you bring a newborn home. It's like I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have his help, Blaze's help, because he stayed for a few days, after Kaya was born. My brother in law did. And it was just a tremendous help because it let me do what I needed to do. And then, I was running my company, Virtual Zen Assistant, and you guys were phenomenal. Like, y'all helped me out with answering calls, handling emails, and I would have been like going loco crazy, like prescribing to all the sanity medication if I had to do all that by myself. So thank y'all for that. That was super helpful.
Yeah, of course, girl.
I know, like you said, when you have other kids, but then like you just had a baby, the world still goes on. It doesn't stop. And it's just so funny because when it's your first baby, it's almost like the world stops. Like everything's about that baby, like nothing else is going on. And so I think that's kind of funny. But for me getting home, I honestly was off so many drugs from the hospital that when I got home, it was really still a blur to me. My butt bone was bruised. I mean, very bruised. I looked like a penguin trying to walk. I couldn't get on the toilet by myself. I couldn't get up and off the couch by myself. And kind of like you said, Sissy, having y'all's brother in law in town, like it was very helpful, but it was also a privacy thing. And so Zeke's family had came over, I think a couple hours after we had got home. And here I am in my robe, still kind of blurry, not really knowing what's going on. My butt bone was hurting. I mean, it was a little awkward, and I was still having like the postpartum sweats. And so I was just like, I just felt out of it, honestly. And it took my butt bone really, I think, up until 3 or 4 months to stop hurting.
Oh, wow. And you said, so did you have the blow up donut ring to sit on?
Oh, that's another thing. So we asked them if they had that, right? Tell me why they bring it to you, and they were like, "You have to blow it up yourself. We don't have anything to blow it up with." I I was so livid. I just used my boppy pillow to sit on, and I just put like my butt in the middle of it. But I was like, "How did I just push out this baby? My butt bone is bruised, and you tell me I have to blow up this big old donut?"
Girl, you should just pass that on to Zeke, like, "Here you go, hubby." Like, you can go ahead and do that.
Well, I mean, they handed it to him, but it was one of those that was, like, really hard to blow up, like, you had to put your everything into it, and it was just, like, big. I was like, "Don't even worry about it. I'll just pillow."
Yeah, that is kind of annoying that they would do that.
How long did y'all bleed for after y'all gave birth?
For me, it was probably, like, I wanna say 2.5, 3 weeks. I bled for a quite a long time, but it was like, as it went, it got lighter and lighter, but I feel like it was forever.
I think I for about 2 weeks too. Mine wasn't super bad.
Mine was for 6 weeks. I don't know why. And then it stopped. And then literally 2 or 3 days later, I started my period again. So,
I just had a real menstrual cycle, like, a couple weeks ago. Like, I started my menstrual cycle, like, shortly after having her, but it was
yeah,
very light, like, it was nothing. Yeah, I'm not even joking, like, this time when I had my first real menstrual cycle, like, 2 weeks ago, it lasted for, like, 10 to 13 days, and it was so heavy, like, I was so miserable.
They say when you breastfeed, your period comes kind of later. So I honestly didn't get my period. I think it was about 5 months, 5 or 6
wow.
months.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
I did wanna ask this because 'cause I'm just curious. Did y'all like the hospital underwear better or like those pull-up diaper, they're like pull-ups for adults, or did you like the pad and underwear?
I actually didn't try the diapers, but I heard that they were very comfortable. And I feel like I should have gotten them. But I did use the underwear because Sissy, I think it was, you gave me a whole pack of mesh underwear. And I was like, I'm just going to use these up. And I used every single one of them.
Yeah, same here. Saw that the pull-ups were super comfortable and helpful, but I just used the mesh underwear, the really awkward see-through ones, but they worked, so
I used the mesh for a couple of days, and then I did have a pack of the pull-up diapers, and once I tried it on, because it came up kinda high, so it held your stomach together too, and it was very comfortable, so then I started using those, and I went and bought a whole 'nother pack. Those were really comfortable.
who knew you had to change your diaper and your baby's diaper simultaneously?
Literally, though.
Well, thank you, Emma and Jenna, for coming on today and talking about postpartum. And so we did hit a lot of personal topics and some tips that can help new moms with going through that whole process with bringing your newborn home. Thank you guys for joining us. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Peace.